Well, all right. Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. It's digital host AJ Wuest here, welcoming you back to Before the Four. Of course, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories, and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. I say it each and every day, wherever you're watching Before the Four this afternoon, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or our 48 Now live stream. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your afternoon here. Now, first, let's talk about the weather. We have 48's Jada Russell in the house today. Jada, my sinuses have really been acting up today. I'm not going to lie.
Absolutely. I can imagine a lot of folks are sitting in that same boat. What we're seeing right now is this warming trend here, and we're really on the back end of it. And so we're getting this wind out of the southwest, and that's coming from the areas like Louisiana, Mississippi, that have already seen much warmer conditions than where we have. So once that air comes out of the southwest, they've had enough time for things to start blooming a little earlier than they should. That's where that pollen's coming in at. And personally, I'm always the first person to go when it comes to sinuses and pollen. I'm the first person affected, and I'm surprisingly okay, knock on wood. But temperatures right about now, we're in those upper 60s. We were hoping to see some 70s out of today, but the cloud cover built in a little earlier than anticipated. And a lot of time when we get cloud cover, it cools us off just a touch, but it does more so to hold our temperatures at a specific spot. So I'm expecting us to kind of hold our temperatures in those low end 60s. Once we start to see the sun go down just a bit, that'll take us down to some upper 50s as well. So we won't really drop off too much. It'll feel a little similar to how we felt maybe mid-morning. So that's kind of where we'll sit for the rest of this evening. You can see a lot of us are in the 60s at this point, and it's getting pretty overcast outside as well. So here's what we're looking at in the next few days. We're seeing some temperatures kind of changing over into the 70s by Thursday and Friday. We've got another day of 60s, and out of Wednesday, we're expecting some drizzle possibly. But once we get to Thursday and Friday, we have late rain on Thursday. And then by the time we get to Friday, we have heavier showers coming in, and that's going to be a rotating kind of shower day. So where our northern communities will get the most shower opportunity at the time, it'll start to move its way south, and then we'll continue to kind of see that change throughout the day where different portions of the valley will see drier conditions. So just keep that in mind as you make your plans for Friday. Most of the day is going to be wet. We're going to see some heavy downpours at times. We're looking out for some possible thunderstorms. Thankfully, nothing of severe nature, but just enough to put it on our radar. And then as we get into this weekend, we're expecting much cooler weather. There's a cold front coming alongside Friday's showers. So make sure you tune in tonight, 4, 5, 6, and 10, and even again at 9:30. Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis will give you a full look at what to expect for the next 10 days.
Well, all right, Jada, that is great to know. Thank you so much. And I'm truly digging this weather. It is amazing this week. I think I'm going to go for a bike ride on the trail probably this Thursday, but I'm going to keep that Zyrtec on me. No doubt about it. But also make sure you guys tune in to 48 First Alert Weather Extra tonight at 9:30. Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis will be here in the streaming center. He'll go through the radar. Feel free to leave a comment. Any questions you might have, Brad will work to find that answer for you. So you're just not going to want to miss it. 48 First Alert Weather Extra. But now let's jump into some of the day's top stories. And today's civil rights icon, Reverend Jesse Jackson, sadly passed away at the age of 84. The faith leader had lost his voice to a rare disease in the final months of his life. Great television national correspondent Peter Zampa takes a look at Jackson's life and legacy.
Born Jesse Burns to a 16-year-old single mother in Greenville, South Carolina in 1941, the future Reverend Jesse Jackson was a child of the Jim Crow South. Taking the last name of his stepfather, after graduating from college in 1964, Jackson moved to Chicago to attend the Chicago Theological Seminary. Jackson dropped out in 1966, 3 credits short of graduating after getting his start in the civil rights movement, working for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was ordained as a reverend in 1968, and the school awarded Jackson his master's degree in 2000, counting his life experiences and previous work in place of those 3 missing credits. Impressed by Jackson, King and fellow civil rights leader James Bevel tapped him to lead Operation Breadbasket in Chicago, Southern Christian Leadership Conference's economic division. In 1971, Jackson left Operation Breadbasket to start Operation Push, short for People United to Save Humanity. Its goal was advancing social justice and civil rights. Operation Push would come to prominence as it led boycotts of several companies, including Coca-Cola, Anheuser-Busch, and Nike, pushing these companies to hire more black workers and buy from black-owned businesses. In addition to activism, Jackson aimed for the presidency. He sought the Democratic nomination in both 1984 and 1988. After coming in a distant third in 1984, Jackson had a much stronger showing in '88, winning 13 states and finishing runner-up to eventual nominee Michael Dukakis. Activism, however, was never far from his campaign. The Rainbow Coalition grew out of his presidential run, eventually merging with Operation Push to form the Rainbow Push Coalition, which still fights for social justice and civil rights today. After his presidential runs, Jackson walked the halls of Congress, serving as the shadow senator for Washington, D.C. from 1991 to 1997. He continued to back Democratic Party candidates, including giving an early endorsement to fellow Chicagoan Barack Obama in 2008 during his successful presidential bid. In 2017, Jackson was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. A minister, Jackson devoted his life to his Baptist faith through serving others. In New York, I'm Peter Zampa.
And Reverend Jackson will be greatly missed. But now an update to the officer-involved shooting yesterday afternoon at an RV park in Albertville. A 60-year-old man was airlifted to the hospital yesterday after officers allegedly found him brandishing a gun. Police say the incident occurred when officers attempted to execute an arrest warrant at the RV park on Nixon Chapel Road. That's when officers say 60-year-old Rodney Langley encountered them with the gun, causing officers to fire at him. He was airlifted to the hospital for treatment. No officers were injured in the incident, and state troopers are continuing to investigate. And 48's Will Eldridge will have the very latest coming up in our evening newscasts. And now an Alabama man has been arrested in connection with a deadly shooting on I-65 Sunday night. 31-year-old Aaron Wayne Purvis of Atmore, that's who you're seeing on screen, he was charged with first-degree homicide and attempted first-degree homicide. Purvis was arrested in Franklin County, Tennessee yesterday on unrelated charges. Now, during his arrest, authorities found multiple firearms and other evidence which led them to believe he was responsible for that deadly shooting. Now, he is being held inside the Giles County Jail. And now moving over to Priceville, where residents are continuing their fight for the city to get its own zip code. Currently in Priceville, residents are forced to use neighboring cities for their mailing address. This has sparked much confusion at the post office. Sarah Grace Kennedy explains.
Packages ended up going from my house to Decatur and sometimes even Hartselle and all over the place.
Hunter Gooch lives in Priceville, but since the city doesn't have its own zip code, she's forced to use a Decatur mailing address. Problem is that her street name exists in both cities.
If that was to be, lost or went somewhere else, I would be really upset because then I'd have to reach out to other people, be like, hey, do you have this by chance? Or, hey, I'm not lying, my package really didn't get delivered. It was very stressful because, there's multiple times where, you're buying stuff for your kids' birthdays or buying things for school that you need.
The postmaster says residents can use Priceville in their addresses, but when they do, the mail often gets returned because it's not recognized as valid. I decided to test this. If I sent a letter to Hunter Gooch addressed to Priceville, would it actually get there? This envelope here is addressed to Priceville, Alabama, not Decatur, Alabama.
Now we just have to see where this envelope ends up.
Over the weekend, Gooch sent me a picture of the letter I sent her. It arrived a week later. Although she's glad it made it, she says she still won't risk using Priceville as her mailing address. Local realtors I spoke with tell me this is even impacting home searches.
I know that a lot of out-of-state buyers have been impacted by this as well because they don't even know that Priceville's on the map. They've never heard of it, they don't see it on their searches, and so they're missing out on a great community. I typed in Priceville under Zillow. It only pulled up 16 listings, but when I went to my MLS, I pulled up 49 listings. So there's a lot of houses that are being missed and a lot of buyers and sellers that aren't knowing about the houses that are out there.
Sam Heflin, the mayor of Priceville, says when residents try to order something online using a Priceville address, the system rejects it as invalid. Some businesses on the edge of city limits don't know where to pay taxes.
We'll go a month and a half, 2 months, and then we'll notice, hey, we've got this new business open, but we haven't collected any taxes from it. So we'll call Avenue, who collects our taxes. Avenue will go out and they'll send an auditor out. He'll go out, audit the business, find out that yes, they have been collecting taxes, but they've been sending them to the wrong location.
City leaders have been working since 1988 to get a zip code for Priceville. Now that just might become a reality. Congressman Dale Strong has introduced a bill that, if approved, would give Priceville its own zip code. It has already passed the House and is headed to the Senate.
It's been something that we've been fighting for a long time.
With that, we're going to head to break, but coming up, details on a gold watch theft at a Decatur antique store. It's all ahead. We'll talk about it all in 1 minute. All right, break time over, y'all. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Before the Four. And now in Decatur, where several gold watches were recently stolen from an antique store. Callie Neese has the details.
The manager here at Firehouse Antiques told me that Sunday was like any other day until they noticed a display case was wide open and 5 pocket watches were gone.
I hate to say it, but unfortunately locks just keep the honest people out.
Take a look at this exclusive video. You can see the 2 men in the back of the store by this display case. You can see the door swing open, and that's when Thomas Yak, the store manager, says they took the 5 pocket watches out, valuing about $2,500.
We feel a little violated. I mean, these are individuals that these people are stealing from, coming in, just trying to make extra income.
Firehouse Antique works like many other antique stores. Many individuals will have booths that they will stock, and the antique store worries about the payments and paying out the vendors. Yak told me many people do this as a side hustle, so losing over $2,000 in merchandising can be devastating.
It's a couple friends of ours that, a father and daughter who do this, and he's retired, and just really nice people, and it sucks for them.
And this is not the first time this has happened.
So he had somebody cut a lock on another showcase and steal about $500 or $600 worth of lighters and high-end pipes and cigarette cases last weekend.
Yak said he hopes by getting these pictures out, even if the 2 men are not prosecuted, maybe they will be too scared to steal again.
We just don't want to see it happen again, and we don't want to see it happen to another store.
Yak says they have heightened security and asks anyone who may recognize the 2 men in the video to come forward. Reporting in Decatur, Callie Neese, 48 News, on your side.
And now let's go through the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. A former Morgan County jailer charged with 7 counts of felony extortion related to allegedly stealing honey buns from inmates. Nick Ballinger spoke with the jailer, who says he's been set up. A scam targeting residents in Sheffield. Aria Pons will have everything you need to know. And finally, vandalism at Sheffield High School. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. And now it is time, y'all. It is time for Facebook fun. Our 48 Facebook question today. What's one thing you hope to accomplish this week? And let's see what y'all hope to accomplish this week. Already did accomplish this week, organizing my closets with all the old and new. That's awesome. Organizing closets is always a great accomplishment there. Thank you, Debbie. Get over this cold and cough. I feel you on that, Debbie. My sinuses, like I said, have been acting up. I just want to get over that. Sabrina, finish my needle point from Sister Stitches. Sabrina, I think you and my girlfriend Jamie would get along. She's really into needle pointing right now. Timothy Patrick said Friday. That's always something I hope to accomplish every week, Friday. And then Travis said working to be a better husband, better father, one day at a time, currently juggling a lot of things. That is awesome. That is a very good goal to have. Thank you so much for commenting. And like Sharon said, organizing closets. It's hard for me to just get motivated enough to actually want to organize my closet myself. So within that is an accomplishment itself, 100%. Well, y'all, as always, you had super awesome comments. You always do. But that is just about all the time I have for today's Before the Four. Thank you so much for watching, spending a bit of your Tuesday afternoon here. I hope you all have a great rest of your night. Enjoy our evening newscasts. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You all have a great night.